Today, I'm joined by someone whose story embodies strength, growth, and self-love. She is a fitness creator and Latina wellness advocate. From overcoming anxiety and transforming her relationship with food to inspiring women to take up space in the gym and love their bodies through every phase, Jaz's journey is all about turning pain into power. I introduce you, Jaz. For those who might not know your full story, can you share a little about your background and where you grew up?
Oh, okay. I am an East Coast girly. I'm originally from Jersey. But if you grow up on the East Coast, you just know it's weird. You can't just say, oh, I'm just from Jersey. So I have family also in New York. So we were always kind of back and forth. And also I lived in Harrison, where the PATH train was. So you would literally walk 10 minutes down to the train and then you'd be in World Trade in like 15, 20 minutes. So it was like, my childhood was really fun. I didn't have it was a small town, but I was exposed to so much at like such a young age.
And I know that you went from the East Coast to the West Coast. So what happened that you're like, I want to be on the West Coast? Because usually East Coast girlies like love the East Coast.
Honestly, I go back and forth between here and Miami. Okay. I'm like really like battling like, where do I want to go? Like, do I want like earthquakes or hurricanes? Like what?
But natural disasters.
Which natural? Yeah, like I think Cali, I always dreamt about Cali since I was a little girl. Mm-hmm. So I always felt very grounded at the beach. But especially my upbringing was really hard. Like we didn't really come from a lot of money. So going to the beach, you had to be financially well off. It was $9 every time you want to go to the beach in Jersey. What? I don't know if you knew that.
You have to pay to go to the beach there?
There's literally little tolls, like they have little booths and fences on the beach.
How are you going to make a profit off of what God gave us? That's what I don't get.
And it's not even for cute beaches. We're not talking like, it's like these cute crystal clear beaches. Like they're pretty crusty. We share the ocean with New York. That tells you everything you need to know. So it was just, it was like, growing up, anytime we got to go to the beach, which was like 1 or 2 times a year, I would always get I was like, oh my God, this is this is Disneyland. This is like the best thing ever. So then obviously I start growing up and I noticed like people are living on the shore. I'm like, dang, this is like a dream. Like I really hope someday I will be able to do that. And so Cali kind of just fell on my lap naturally. Because when I was a junior, I ended up at the time I was really interested in studying law. And I ended up doing a pre-law program at Stanford when I was a junior. And that was up north. That's not SoCal. But my roommate was from SoCal. She's like, you're going to have to visit. And I'm like, that's cute. Like, because I had fundraised for that program. And so I was like, I don't have money to be flying. I'm 17 years old. But I ended up getting flown out when I was 17 by her mom to celebrate her birthday. Oh. Yes, crazy full circle moment. And so I went to visit her and then she showed me certain parts of SoCal. And I was like, is this real? Like it was night and day from how I grew up. So I was literally like, this is where I'm going to live. And that's it. There's no other, it's like not maybe. This is where I'm going to live. Fast forward, 22 years old, finished getting my associates. And I was like, okay, I'm buying a one-way to Cali and never looking back. And that's exactly what I did.
Well, I love that. I absolutely love that.
Yeah, there's a lot of in-betweens through that. We'll go through all the questions and stuff. But yeah, that's essentially like recap. Yeah, how I ended up in California.
You like manifested in some way.
Yes. Anytime I'd walk into Hollister at a mall, I would see like the surf lifestyle and I was like, I want that. Like, yeah, I don't like it I don't know how to say it, but certain places, I don't know if you've ever traveled, you just felt called to go somewhere. Like you can't describe it.
I feel you.
It's like my soul is craving this place and I don't know why I keep thinking about it and it doesn't go away. And so, yeah, it was meant for me. And all the cars, just everything aligned, all in my favor. When I got out here, what I had gone through all the years of like working my butt off and really hustling and having to like go through what I went through in Jersey, all of that literally in 3 months in California, my dreams came true. In 3 months in California. Yeah.
You know what? I saw this one video where they were saying how your soul calls you to a place for a reason. Like your blessings are in that one spot.
Yes.
You know?
I don't think that happens for no reason.
Oh, 100%.
Like, I feel like when God puts something in your heart and he just, I always say, like, I always just had a bigger vision since I was little. I was like, I just feel like I'm meant for more than where I'm from. And I will never, I always say, I always give back to where I'm from. I will always, like, remember where I came from. You can remember, but, and I was talking about this in my YouTube as well this morning, but it's okay to evolve. Like, I loved that version of myself, and I had to be that person in order to be who I am today. But it's okay to shed layers. I can love where I'm from, but that doesn't mean that I'm just going to stay there for the rest of my life, right? And I think that there's something I saw recently, and it was like, there's a plane that's going to take you away from your hometown. Take it. And I was like, that's exactly how I felt. I was like, that plane was waiting for me. And it honestly, I was at the airport. I was like, it was one suitcase. I had a cat at the time, and I'm looking at him. He's looking at me. I'm like, I got no idea what we're about to do, but we're going to do it. And I remember getting on I almost got off the plane because I was like about to throw. I was like, it was like that risk. You just have to take the risk. If you don't take the risk, then you'll never know, you know?
Oh my God. Well, I literally just got chills.
It's crazy. It's crazy. Life is crazy. Like, what is life?
Yeah.
It's just like, what? Like, we're here. Like, what? I always wanted to be on podcasts. Like, this is my 4th podcast. I don't know, the way you speak to yourself, like the vision you have, like it comes true. We're here.
Exactly. Yeah. Exactly. And you've like impacted so many people too. Like, your story is just so powerful and empowering.
Yeah.
So I'm glad that you're here.
I'm happy I'm here.
Oh, I love you so much.
I love you more.
So let's talk a little bit more about your background. We know that you're a first-generation Latina.
Yes.
How has that shaped who you are today?
That's a good question. Being a first-gen Latina is everything for me. Like, when people say, you know, I think identity is such a complex thing. When people are describing their identity, when people look to their identity, we all identify in different areas. And for me, my culture, my background is everything to me because it made me who I am. My mother migrated here when I was my mother migrated here when I was 2 years old. Basically a single mother. She raised me from nothing. I can't even imagine if you were to throw a kid at me right now and tell me to go to a country and start all over. I don't even know where I would start. And the fact that she was just able to make nothing into something, like the fact that she was able to take nothing and make it something, it's just so powerful. Mm-hmm. And I think that's where I'm deeply rooted, and that's where I find myself just going back to my why. Like, if she could do it, why can't I do it? So when I run into a little obstacle, when something just isn't going my way, or I'm not where I want to be, I came from nothing, and I basically was created into something, and it was through that resilience of the woman before me. And so when we're talking about being a first-gen Latina, I think you're just paying tribute to the woman and men before you that allowed you to basically pave the way for your next generations. You know, I always say my mom didn't have to come here. She could have stayed where she was. She could have said, we're just going to do it. But she always said, when I was born, it's like it gave her a different purpose. And she said, I just couldn't raise you where we were at because I felt like there was more. So my mother literally like spoke those words of life since I was a baby. And yeah, like I think Latinas are so badass. I think there's just so much that we go through and so many barriers we have to overcome. And we do have to work harder than our counterparts because there is something to prove that we can take up space, that we do belong there. And I think that being a first-gen Latina, that's what you carry. And that's, how you carry yourself, how you present yourself, and knowing that no matter where you go, you belong there.
Exactly.
Mm-hmm.
And I feel like you find strength in their sacrifices too.
Yes.
Like they went through all of this, like I have to be good,
Yes.
Yeah.
That's a big one. You kind of just go back to them.
Yeah.
I'm always constantly, I'm like, no, I get to live this life.
Yeah.
I get to wake up.
It's a privilege.
Yeah, and I'm sure you've experienced it. There's times where there's so much burnout with our career and our line of work, constantly having to wake up, and it's almost a production. That's what I call it.
Mm-hmm. It is a production.
Yeah, anyone who does content creation, you can't sit there and be like, oh yeah, no, this is just how I roll out of bed. This is just, I just set up a camera. No, we're constantly overthinking our looks, the way we present ourselves, even our homes, our sacred places become a place where we're basically setting it up for everyone to be a part of. And so I always go back to okay, yeah, it's a little, sometimes it can feel just like a lot, but I'd rather it feel like a lot than feel like I'm not doing enough or just being mediocre and not caring.
Exactly. I feel you. I feel you. What originally drew you to fitness? And was there a specific moment or challenge that sparked this journey for you?
Yeah, I think that I always talk about my journey with depression.
Mm-hmm.
And I feel like sometimes, you're diagnosed with something and we go back to identity. And I'm at a point in my life now where I do go through depression. And at that time, I was in a very vulnerable place and I was going through so much. And I tried everything. At one point, I was hospitalized for depression. I couldn't do, the basic, the bare things that are normal for a person, like waking up and showering. That's something I hold gratitude for. That's something that I struggled with at one point. Even being able to roll out of my bed, I physically would have to roll myself out of my bed. And those were really hard moments for me. And so I trusted Western medicine and I said, okay, maybe I do need medication and to be hospitalized. And I did everything I was told and I still did not feel better. And I was like, I don't know what I'm missing. What else do I need to do? And I was just like, okay, move. That was just the word. It was you're stagnant, you need to move. And there came a point in my life where I was like, if I don't move myself, no one's going to do this for me. And so it started with the little things like going on a walk. And when you grow up, I always say, going back to my upbringing, when you're raised in an underprivileged community, an inner city, it is not the same thing as living in a nice community. You can't just, okay, I'm just going to walk around my house. I'm going to walk around the block. Sometimes that's just not the environment for a walk. So the walk to the park and then that park walk was my safe place. And I was like, okay, I get to walk and I'm just kind of trying to process my emotions and things would get harder and harder. And I was like, all right, we got to do a little bit more than movement. And that's when that's when it kind of fell in my lap. I was looking for a job and then I started working front desk as a juice bar girl. And they were like, you get a gym membership. And I was like, oh, I don't got to pay. Okay. I guess let's do it. And that's when I started. I had no idea what I was doing. No idea. And I come from an athletic background. I played soccer, softball. So I was like, this can't be that hard. No, it was very hard. Mm-hmm. And where I went to the gym was not a Planet Fitness. It wasn't a starter gym. It used to be a Gold's gym. It's called Signature Fitness. The elite of the elite, we're talking Mr. Olympians go there. Sean Clarita, Kai Green. I was like, oh my God, what is going on? Why do they look like that? What is, they're like, I'm in the Olympia. I'm like, the Olympics? What do you, and then I started learning about the bodybuilding world. And so my mental health was kind of oh, a human body can do that just by working out. Okay. And we go back to mental health. It doesn't obviously just affect your mind, it affects your body physically. So I was feeling physically ill to the point where I couldn't move. So exercise was something where I was like, okay, well, if it's affecting my physical, I need to do something for the physical in order for my mind to get right. And so
they're like interconnected.
Yes, like I started processing on these walks, and I didn't have a car at the time, so I was walking to the gym or I would Uber. And so these are times where I'm processing things, and through that process is where exercise, boom, something clicked in my brain, and I'm like, duh, exercise. Why would I? That's the one thing I haven't been doing. And I was super scared starting up. And I just started with the weights. And I don't know how to explain it. It's like the iron, especially in an old school gym like that, like with the iron and kind of like the energy of everybody there and the Olympian world and like bodybuilding. You're just like, oh, wow, they're like going through something, but you can see it, but they don't say it, but they're leaving it here. So I'm like, I'm going to walk into the gym. I'm going to leave my issues here and I'm going to walk out. And that's exactly what started happening. I started with small treadmill walks, and then I started with small upper body workouts, squats that looked like they looked. That's all I gotta say. Those RDLs.
RDLs are hard for me to conquer.
RDLs, Bulgarian. Those were crazy looking back on. But it was the effort that counted. I'm like, okay, I would kind of look around me, and I started grabbing everybody's exercises and kind of putting them together. And I'm like, I'm just going to start there. That's what we'll do. And then obviously this was at the time where this is around 2019, a little pre-COVID, but we're at peak of COVID. Because when I was hospitalized for depression, that's when COVID literally struck New York. So I'm like, why is everyone wearing masks? My depression was getting worse. I was like, did something happen? Am I going crazy? And then the gym, obviously everybody's wearing masks, and then they shut down. Boom. And I'm like, oh, whoa, what are we doing? Like, we need to go back to the gym. So then the at-home workouts, that's when that started, right? So I was trying to constantly move my body. They were real strict on the East Coast, though, because I be hearing in OC, Orange County, they were opening everything up. People were walking around. No, like, you were not allowed to go to the park. You were not allowed to leave your house. National Guard everywhere. I'm like, what am I supposed to do? Because I just found out about this exercise world. And so that's how exercise kept me grounded during really chaotic and trying times, because my peak of my depression was literally COVID. And then a lot of people actually during COVID, obviously we see a spike in mental health, right, issues. And that's when everything came out, right? Because everybody had to sit with themselves. They had no other choice. But for me, it was pre-COVID. So then it was literally heightened, right? And something that a lot of people also don't talk about is a lot of psychiatrists during this time were like, well, I can't see you in person. I can't really do much. So everybody's getting pills to calm everybody down. Yeah. That's realistically what happened. Yeah. So no one was asking me like about dosages. They were just like, okay, we'll just increase. Cool, we'll increase again. And then, you reach a point where you're on so much medication and you're like, this is just not it. Like, this is not a way to live anymore. And there's nothing wrong with medication. Like, if that's something that someone needs, then that's for their own self. For me personally, I just noticed I was using it as a Band-Aid, and it was doing more harm than good for me at the time. So I was like, if I can try something natural and something that's going to guide me through without having this full dependency that's doing harm, that's where exercise came in for me.
Have you ever heard of that quote, depression can't hit a moving target?
Yes. I saw that on TikTok. I was like, that's interesting. They have to be a really good shooter.
Yeah. Literally.
We're going to keep moving. Yeah, movement is medicine.
It really is. It really is. I think like movement solves majority of the problems that 100%. We humans have, mentally, physically, like it is medicine. It's the best form of medicine in my opinion.
Movement is medicine, 100%. First thing in the morning, walking, sunlight, that's the first thing. Like, you see how many people constantly are reaching for the phone. And then, they're complaining about their anxiety, their depression, but you didn't go outside, not even for a 10-minute walk, right? Or just to open your window and feel the sun, right? So it just goes back to like the healing of the body. It starts internally before it can manifest physically. Yeah.
I love that. I love that. Talking about the mental health aspect, You spoke about anxiety. Do you still have days where you struggle with mental health? How did you get through it, and how do you still get through it today?
I think going back to identity, obviously you get told, okay, you have this diagnosis, right? And for me, it was major depression disorder. So it was like, this is what you have. To me, I said, everything begins in the mind. If I tell myself I have depression, I will have depression. My mind will be my biggest critic, and it still is. Even before this podcast, my mind was telling me, okay, it's not a big deal. Okay, like, what about it? And it's such a negative thing. And I have to rewire my brain and be like, this is a big deal. This is cool. Like, come on, get excited. And for a lot of people that struggle with mental health, this is something that's super common. You have to put in the effort to fight those negative thoughts in your mind. And so right now, I would say that I am struggling a little bit more with those things, and I've been a little bit more open with everybody online, where I'm like, no, I can't create out of burnout. I can't create out of my anxiety. Like, it's going to have to be from a peaceful place, a place where I feel good. And I think that right now, as I struggle with it, I have better coping mechanisms. So if anything, it's been easier. It's not that it's not an easy journey, but I'm just happy about the place I'm in now, emotionally and physically, because I'm a lot stronger mentally to overcome versus back then where I might have used coping mechanisms that weren't healthy. So things like, drinking, or maybe like doing things that weren't going to fill my soul. It was just instant gratification to get me through. And so now I'm at a point where I'm like, okay, I know I don't need that glass of wine before bed just to calm me down. What I need is breath work. I need to enter the parasympathetic, right? I need to get into that meditative state. I need to get into the state of calmness, right? Ground myself back. And so even though I'm going through that right now, I just note that it's not going to last forever. And I say a bad day is not a bad life. So just getting through that has been really helpful.
You're still in tune with yourself. And I feel like that's something that a lot of people struggle with forming,
Yeah.
I think this is a different level of intelligence, and you have it.
Thank you.
It takes a lot to know what to do and know what serves you in that moment,
I think it's just self-awareness is the first step into your healing. And a lot of people can't heal because they refuse to be aware of themselves. And it was something that I had to come to terms with, right? And you have to leave that victim mentality of everyone else is against you. And I do say that, especially people in our generation, they do walk around with this guardedness or this toughness. But if anything, to me, that just shows me you're hurting and you don't want to talk about it. And that's okay. The way I grew up was you don't really talk about your feelings. You don't overspeak, right? A therapist, you would never... Are you crazy?
My parents didn't believe in therapy.
My mom's like, hey, be careful now. But no, literally, these things culturally, right? It's not even just Latinos, it's first generation immigrants, right? A lot of us that are growing up, it was you don't talk about those. That's private. That stays in the household. You don't tell people about my problems. You don't tell people about your problems or your father's problems or your siblings, right? So now everybody's got issues.
Yes.
But nobody's getting help. And now it's a, I'm wait, can I curse?
Yeah.
I'm it's just a cluster F. You know what I'm saying? Everybody's all messed up and now we're not getting the help we need. And so I think with the self-awareness for so long, you're aware of your behavior. You're aware of what you're doing, but you're choosing not to I'm oh, I do have codependency with men, but I'm just going to ignore that. And I'm going to keep staying in abusive and toxic relationships. Oh, okay. I tend to attract women, right, that aren't leading me down a good path and they're influencing me to do really bad things, but I'm just going to ignore that because it's cool. We're just going to keep going, man. But it's where's your self-awareness? It's time to start. We're at an age where it's you got if you don't do it now, it's going to catch up eventually, right? And that's why we see so many what I'm seeing now is a lot of the things generationally that looked okay, right? Sometimes some of our parents stayed together because it was culturally or just within religion, like this is the right thing to do, but we're so miserable. This is so toxic. This is not good. And that was when I say evolving, right? In the beginning, sometimes there's things within one part of our lives like we thought was okay, and it's like, right, not being self-aware. And then you grow and then you have, oh, I do have this self-awareness. Now I know what's good and what's bad. And then you might stay in that relationship, right? Or you might keep being friends with the wrong people, or you might just stop taking care of yourself and you're living in this autopilot. It's like, when does that stop, you know? And I think I got to that point where I was like, I'm so sick of my own self. I'm sick of making excuses for myself. Like, when am I gonna be real with myself? Like, I am the drama. I am the drama. Let's be real. Like, come on, Latina, East Coast, got a little drama there. It's a little sizzling. So I'm like, that's where the self-awareness definitely came into play.
Okay. You're so funny. It's me. I'm the tea.
I'm the drama. I'm the cheese man.
I'm the cheese man. I love. For someone who's listening and who's in a really tough place mentally right now, what are a few small but realistic steps that they can take today to start feeling a little bit better about themselves?
That's a good one. I want to be intentional about how I answer that.
Mm-hmm.
If I were to do just 3 small things, I would, number 1, the awareness, right? The awareness to sit down with myself, take that intentional time, not like 5 minutes and I'm going to go back on social media, taking that intentional time to sit down with myself. A lot of us, right, that don't want to confront those parts of ourselves that are causing a lot of issues, sometimes we need to visually see it. And that's where journaling comes into play. I know a lot of people get really overwhelmed just even thinking about writing something, but that would be the first step that I take, to visually see what is the drama. So sitting down with myself and being like, what has been a constant problem? I'm not working out. I'm working a job I hate. I have issues with boundaries and people pleasing, right? And so some people might not even be able to verbally say that out loud, but they'll go into their journal. And I say that's where you sit down and you just write, even if it starts with, I am frustrated, I am sad, I am anxious. You are able to visually process that. And our mind doesn't know the difference, right, between what's real and what's not sometimes. So we have to snap into it and be like, okay, we're processing right now what I just wrote that I am feeling internally, right? So I am feeling anxious because I work a job I don't like. Okay, so right now we can't change that. But what are we going to do to change it, right? Let's say we have a year left of college and you want to pursue something. What is something that, if you know you can't change your environment externally, how can I change my environment internally, right? So yeah, I don't love my we've all worked with people we don't like. So at the time when I was studying, I was in community college, taking the train and working at a restaurant. And again, as someone who had a big vision and wanted more, this was a difficult reality. I said, I know what I'm meant for, but why is this my reality? I don't like my reality. But I realized I can't change that. That's my reality right now. How can I romanticize my journey, right? That meant waking up earlier. So instead of just allowing my alarm clock to sound off, clocking into work early, right? So working the lunch and then having an hour to just chow down on food, taking the train, going to school. I said, you know what? I can't change my environment working with people I don't really like necessarily. And then having to take a train to school in an area that I don't really love and wasn't, pouring into me. I said, I'm going to wake up earlier. I'm going to go to a really nice coffee shop and I'm just going to romanticize myself. I'm going to look pretty. I'm going to do my makeup. I'm going to, focus on my hygiene. I'm going to walk to this coffee shop and I'm going to drink this coffee, main character energy, and I'm going to journal and I'm going to do that for a month. And that one thing, and I say, don't jumble and try to create this extensive list. Start with one thing. The awareness of I can't change something right now, but how can I change internally? And those 30 days, like I really committed to that. This was during like New Year, New Me, like after January. And I was like, I'm going to commit to this. And it made a huge difference because I could not change that I had to make money and that I had to finish school. But I was like, I feel prettier in my day and I feel energized. And you're starting the day with this vision of who you want to become. So my environment wasn't looking like that, but I'm like, it's okay. This is just a step into who I need to be. And in the morning, I felt beautiful and I took pictures and I was able to write things in my journal. So it started with the awareness and visually processing, because I'm the type of person that I struggle to verbalize when I'm going through things or verbalize that I don't like something. And that's something I'm still working on till this day, but it started with that. Number 2, I would say stop the people pleasing. I used to be such a people pleaser. I couldn't say no to anyone. That's why I allowed people to walk all over me. And when I say boundaries, that doesn't mean not having consideration for others. There's a huge difference and a balance. I always say when you're creating boundaries with people, it's just a thin line of like, hey, these are my expectations and my standards. And I'm never going to require something that I'm not providing to you. So it started with that second one of like, okay, number 1, environment awareness. Number 2, the people I'm surrounding myself with, because they always say who you surround yourself with is who you become. So I always said, okay, my environment, why do I keep saying yes to people even though I don't want to do those things, even though I don't want to drink on the weekend? Am I bored? Am I lonely? Why do I keep allowing that relationship that isn't helping me become who I need to be? I have a boundary issue. That means I don't love myself. And so that second thing was creating very firm boundaries. No, I cannot drink with you. I can't do certain things. I can't be in that relationship because I'm chasing after the best version of me. And so number 1, environment awareness. Number 2 was the people I was surrounding myself with. And number 3 was the biggest one. This one took me a little bit of time, but it started with my decision making into who I wanted to become. Every decision I was making, I was a little bit more aware about. So if I was saying yes to things, right, I was like, I would always ask myself, is this leading to who I need to become? And so that came with time, though. I would say like subconsciously what I was saying yes to. So that opportunity in college, okay, it sounds great, but is that leading me to where I want to be? That travel plan, right? Or buying that one way. When I thought about it, I was like psyching myself out and I was like, wait, but is that going to help me become who I need to be? Yes. So we're going to do it, right? Taking any opportunity, assignments at the time in college, right? Or for example, at this time I was selling Google Docs, like just PDFs of fitness challenges. And I was like, oh, this is so dumb. But I was like, oh, wait. I was like, if I do this, is this going to help me achieve a new layer? Yes. And so it started with the decision making every single day. Little decisions add up to the big ones. And so that's how that domino effect played into like who I am today, you know? And so I just start with those 3 steps and taking it little by little. Like life is not a race. You don't need to figure it all out in 1 month, in 1 day. And so leave the instant gratification and like, just slow your roll a little bit, okay? Just baby steps. Start with the awareness. Just write it out. And then from there, everything else will flow.
I love the 3 steps. I think they're very like critical, you know?
Yeah.
And I like how you said that every decision that you took like ended up to who you are. Like every decision had to be in alignment with the future you.
Yeah.
You know, you're walking in her steps.
Yes.
Yeah.
So every time I'd be like, oh, I'm about to do something, but I'd be like, that might be fun. But I was like, no. Like we got to get back to the program. And it takes sacrifice. And a lot of people don't want to sacrifice. They're like, why do I have to sacrifice my time, my energy? And that's when it goes back to consideration. Like, was I considering my future self? No, when I was making those decisions. And now, like I said, now I'm at a point I subconsciously will tell myself that now. I'm like, take the opportunities, take the, like everything to become better you. Because your mind is your harshest critic. It's always going to tell you no.
Oh, 100%.
It's always going to be like, you're not enough. You're not doing enough. Like, oh, like, why would you do that? Like, that's stupid. And you have to be like, first of all, no. Like, I know where I'm going. I know the vision and I know the plan. So let me stick with it.
Period. On your YouTube channel, you talked about how Latina culture shaped your body image growing up. Can you share more about that experience and how you've learned to embrace your body?
Oh, that's so big. I've always been curvy. I would say I should rephrase that. I started, once I hit puberty and I grew into my body, I did notice I was a little curvier, and I did play sports. So I went from being super skinny to being really thick really fast in college. It was the stress, 100%. It was like I put on 30 pounds in like a month, like so out of the ordinary. But then I realized like everything started filling in. And I had bigger hips. I had, just bigger, I call them my cooking arms, right? They always make fun of Latina women with big arms. They're like, you probably cook good, huh? And I would always kind of be like, I don't really love that part about myself. And then I realized that, like, why? And that goes back to I'm just a critical thinker. Like, I'm an empath. Like, I'll be overthinking everything. It is that deep. Everything is that deep to me. And I was like, why do I think like that? And it was just the standards of what I grew up seeing. I mean, you look at like, I love my Victoria's Secret angels. Don't get me wrong. But I was like, that's the standard. I walk into a mall and, you would see like Hollister models. And I mean, I'm like 16 years old, I'm 19 and it's still a standard, right? You long torso girlies, tall girlies. It was the typical just Pilates body. And I was like, why don't I look like that? Like, why can't I be that? And then I'm like, why is that the standard that I place myself in? And so I started following and just kind of like exposing myself to more curvier women within the fitness industry, modeling. And I'm like, oh, there is space for that. And that's how I kind of slowly started growing into my body and being confident and curvy, because I'm like, I cannot change my body makeup. I can't be smaller. That's just not, I can lose weight, but the curves will remain. Like, they're just there. I can't do anything about it. And I said, okay, am I going to keep being miserable about something that God gave me? And with this body, I think that I developed a different relationship with the acceptance of my body, where I didn't just see it as like, you're just this physical being. Like, what is my body actually doing for me? And I was like, dang, you look at our bodily functions, like from our heart to our lungs to like every pulse, our nervous system, our legs, our hands, our thumbs, like all these little things I started appreciating. I'm like, I have a working full body. What is a couple curves? Like, what does that mean to me if I have a full working body? And so that's when I just started appreciating and loving on my body. And I'm like, the only person this worried about every single is me. Like, no one on the internet. I mean, you get the few comments, and people are always going to have comments. But then girls were like, oh, I feel seen through you. Like, oh my God, that's me too. And then I was like, okay, cool. Like, we're in this together. And that's how I would say the community started. Yeah.
I love representation matters,
Heck yeah.
Like you gotta, and everybody's beautiful too,
and its own 100%.
And I think, like, honestly, I think it's the media or just like the people who like control the media. Because like, why has like being the skinniest woman possible such a thing that's been pushed on us from such a young age throughout the years? And they're trying to bring it back again with like the rise of GLP-1s and Ozempic, and like, oh, you could be like skinny and beautiful, skinny and confident. It's like, no, like you could be curvy and confident.
Yes.
Like, why are we pushing this like narrative that to be beautiful you have to be the thinnest version of yourself?
Oh, 100%.
It's so toxic, especially to like developing like girls.
Oh, 100%. I think the whole Ozempic GLP, that took me by surprise.
Oh, same.
I was like, oh, like, okay. Like, I was like, and then let's be real, like LA, Orange County, like everybody's on that.
Oh, 100%.
Everybody in the fitness industry, everybody in the Pilates industry, like it got to a point where instructors were offering.
Yeah.
Like, they're like, oh yeah, like I've been taking it and it's really great. And I'm like, oh, am I missing? No, I'm missing out on something here. I was like, I don't know about that, man. Like, that's a little weird. I don't think I should.
Weird.
They'd be like, no, like it's fine. Like, it's good for you. Like, it's not really that bad. And I'm like, no, like, do you know, like, your blood can clot? Like, do you know the side effects, right? And I saw this huge push, and it's super common.
It's really
It's like the standard.
now.
It's the standard.
It's become
everybody's
normalized. And it's just, I've spoken openly about it. And I think, like, okay, GLP-1, Ozempic, take it if you are medically in need of it. And if a doctor thinks that it's going to be beneficial to your health. But it has gotten to a point that it's been marketed, okay?
As weight loss.
As a weight loss miracle. And as the way that they're marketing it is just like, shame on them, truly.
Facts.
Because you're targeting, like, we all know who your target audience
it's predatory behavior.
Yeah, it's predatory behavior. The way it's marketed, it's like, literally it said, lose weight and increase your confidence. That's what it said. And it's all over YouTube. And it's like,
it's everywhere, though. It's everywhere. I feel like I can't escape it, especially when you're FYP, especially like everything I do is fitness. Every other thing is like my GLP journey or TikTok. People are super open about it. Listen, like I get it. I think I reached my point. I have a lot of coaching clients. But, you know, I be thinking I'm doing the Lord's work. And I'm like, girl, you lost a lot of weight this month, you know? And that was my wake-up call. Like, something is deep where she's like, yeah, I gotta be honest. Like, I have been doing the program, but with, like, Ozempic. I felt bamboozled. I had to let it go. I said, I love you, girly, but I can't. Like, I can't market even my coaching at that point because now it's been bamboozled.
Yeah.
But it honestly, it went back to the conversation of why. Why are we starting this?
Yeah.
What reassurance do we need? Because what led to that point? Because I think there's a lot of thought process that goes into starting something like that. It's definitely not
like a lot of money is involved in it too.
A lot. Are you kidding? I was like, how much are people paying for this? And like I said, people are being open on the internet. And I think it's hard too, though, because a lot of people now, I feel like, don't trust people that go through weight loss. Like, I have lost so much weight and people are like, are you on something? Like, can you tell us if you have taken? And I'm like, that's so sad that that's a reality. Like, I can't just be like celebrated. It has to be like, that comment has to get thrown in there. Like, just be transparent. Like, if you are, and I'm like, dude, I don't even know where this comment is. It's just like, I don't know. It's taken me by surprise how many even curvier girls I follow too, they're on their own weight loss journey. And the constant comments of like, just be honest, just tell us. I'm like, there's nothing to say, babe. There's crickets.
Yeah, it's working out and good food.
I'm like, newsflash, there's this thing called dieting, right? Caloric deficit. I know nobody's really a fan of that, but it's like a real thing. Meal prepping, if you've heard of it, like it's a good thing. It's a little bit better, and there's no side effects of blood clotting. Yeah, and, you know, possibly like having a heart attack,
happening with your organs, you know,
failing, you know. Yeah,
I could talk about that all day, to be honest. It like
that's for another day.
Part two, literally. I want to talk about, basically, you've talked about healing your gut.
Yeah.
And how that transformed your overall health. I think people are becoming more open about like their gut health journey, especially in the fitness industry. Why is gut health so important to you? And like, what signs did you notice that you were like, wait, something's a little off?
Oh my gosh, my gut health journey has been like, there's so many ups and downs. And I will say, if you are on your gut health journey, please be patient with the process. It is not like Ozempic or GLP-1 where you're going to see results literally overnight. Like, gut health journey is long. I'm still on my gut health journey. I knew something was wrong when I would eat something and I was instantly bloated. Anything I ate, and I wasn't eating bad either. I mean, I'm a wellness coach. Like, I felt frustrated within myself because I'm like, I'm coaching people and I'm talking to people on the internet, and my body can't even do what I need it to be doing, right? And so I would meal prep. I mean, high fiber meals. I had everything that was within the category of anti-inflammatory. Something literally as simple as egg whites with mushrooms and spinach would make me bloat. And I was like, this is just not normal. Like, this should be, if anything, making me feel better with my digestive system. And I started with Western medicine, and I would go to the doctor, and it's always the same thing. Nothing is wrong. Your blood test results are fine. What they don't tell you is they are not looking, especially for women. We have to look at the health of men and women, right? We are we're not just vitamin C and iron. Okay, that's not all you should be looking for in women. Like, there's so much going on within our bodies, like our nervous system, our hormones. We are, what's the word? Like, it's not something broad. You have to like really be looking for things. And I just felt like doctors kept gaslighting me, literally to the point where I would walk into the doctor's office. I'd be like, okay, if you don't want to check my stool, I need a refusal order. I need you to write it down that you refused it. And the doctors were literally, a lot of people don't know they could do that. If a doctor denies you an exam, or if a doctor denies you anything, period, that you're asking for, you can ask for a refusal order, and they write it down. And so these doctors were getting tired of me, and they were like, we can't do anything. And I'm like, you can't? Cool. So I started doing my research on holistics, and that goes back to Latinidad and the identity of Latinos. Many Latinos are indigenous, and a lot of our practices are indigenous. So it was crazy. I'd be like, oh, my mom would always make like herbal teas for things, or my mom would always revert to like honey, or things that are the one I hate the most, but it was onion and honey. And she would talk about garlic. I'm like, I found out that's called holistic. And I'm like, okay, this is holistic, right? And then I started learning about functional medicine, Chinese medicine, and Eastern medicine really stuck out to me. And I'm like, this looks like they really care, right? Because the thing is, Western medicine is very broad, right? When you're coming into a doctor's office, they are not looking at Nona. They're looking at, what's your age?
26.
They're looking at the average 26-year-old in the United States that is your height and that is your weight. They're not looking at you as the bio individual. And that was my frustration. I was like, I am more than your statistic. I'm a human being with feelings, and I am not feeling well. And so the constant gaslighting and doctors not wanting to help me was like, cool. And we're talking, I would see the best of the best doctors. I would see the worst of the worst, because another thing is inner city kids do not have access to medical resources. So I was never exposed to the best of the best doctors. So I was like, oh, maybe the issue is that I don't have access to good doctors. Regardless, it can be the bougiest, most private doctor. They all operate the same. And so that is not to say that you should not be seeing I'm not saying you shouldn't see a doctor if something is wrong. That is not what I'm saying. In my case, I knew something was wrong with my stomach. When it comes to any dietary or anything that is gut related, most of the time you're gaslit, and I have heard it across the board with thousands, if not hundreds, thousands of women in my DM talking to me about this. Inflammation is the number one thing that women are struggling with, 100%. If you talk to any woman, they'll always say, oh yeah, I'm bloated. Oh yeah, I'm inflamed. And they think it's normal. It's not. Your body should not be reacting that way to food. And I started doing my research, and I started with acupuncture. That was the first practice that I started with. And Casey, I love you. Shout out to Casey, Flora Fauna Wellness in Orange County. She told me, yes, something is wrong. You're not wrong. And so she did this scan of my body, and she realized, okay, right, with Chinese, Eastern medicine, a lot of it is with your pulse. It's very interconnected. They look at your nervous system, right? And so she would ask me, what is wrong? What are you feeling? I was like, wow, this is the first time like anyone has asked me that question with intention. She wanted to know what was wrong. She wanted to fix it. And so basically, we started with acupuncture. Our body is constantly in survival mode. So me, again, everything in childhood sometimes will manifest when you're an adult. So I could be healing my body and eating right now in my, my mid-20s right now, But when I was a child, that doesn't mean that, oh my God, I was on the healthiest diet. Obesity runs in my family, diabetes runs in my family, and environmental toxic stress can affect you as an adult. And so I figured out, oh my gosh, I've been in survival mode this whole time. And she explained to me about the parasympathetic state that our body goes into. And she's like, you need to stop the decision-making survival mode. We need to put you in a calm state. And I'm like, that's not going to happen. From the East Coast, I'm a hustler, period. Like, I'm not about you want me to be my little yoga? I thought this stuff was woo-woo, okay? I was not open. I was desperate, okay? I was like, I'm desperate and I'm here. But I was still really like against it in the beginning. And I was like, oh, they just want my money. Like, this is not going to work. And then I finally leaned into the practice. And so basically you lay there and she said needles. I said, no. I said, you're good. I'm not putting no needles in my body. And then she explained, it's as thin as paper, literally. So it's going into your body. And the way I like to describe it is I felt as if I was this balloon and she was just deflating the balloon little by little. So this wasn't the first session. This was probably around the third session where I saw real results with my inflammation. I also had really bad periods, and that's also not normal, by the way. But the doctor will tell you it's okay, and they'll throw birth control at you because that's the easiest thing to do. And so basically, with the acupuncture, I started finally feeling like I was relaxed and I was starting to heal. And it was real stuff. So basically, they're looking at different points of your body, your nervous system, things that are interconnected, right? So I found out that in your upper body, somewhere in your bicep, it's connected to your knee. And I was like, what? This is crazy. And so I'm learning about, the different parts of your body, right? Your ear, your nasal, like your brain. It was insane to me. It was this new world. Anyway, I started with acupuncture and I started seeing, little by little. But then I was like, I really want to take it to the next level. I started with lymphatic drainage massages, which I highly recommend, and learning about the lymphatic system and how that also is interconnected into the retention of your water, right? And stress. And then from there, I ended up going to a functional practitioner. And she was like, we're going to do really extensive blood exams. And I was like, okay, another person who's going to tell me everything's fine. No, that woman got 6 tubes of blood out of me. I almost passed out. It was intense, girl. But it showed everything that I have been saying I've been going through. Everything I got denied, I finally got answers. And I cried that day so much. And I was so overwhelmed with frustration and anger of I've been gaslit this whole time. Something is wrong. And a lot was wrong with my gut, and it's things that I'm still dealing with. But it was years of a lot of it, she believes, is stemmed from childhood because it wasn't an overnight issue. All my labs, the things that had tested in there, she's like, these are high levels of things, and this is not from 2 or 3 years. This is years and years and years. And that is why I am such a huge advocate for the Latino community and for them being able to have the resources they need. We need more functional practitioners. We need more functional doctors, Eastern medicine. And I know they would be so open to it because a lot of Latinos, and I just feel like a lot of immigrants, period, they don't go to the doctor. I was taught you don't go to the doctor unless you're dying. And I would love to see more and more farm workers and cleaning ladies and just Latinos, period, that have never been able to have these access to resources, have access to the resources that they need, because a lot of them are sick and they don't know it.
And the thing is, I don't know if insurance covers it or not. Because
it does not.
It does not.
That is the problem.
It should.
But Big Pharma will never want that.
Yeah, and Big Pharma wouldn't.
No.
Because, my story is very similar to your story. Yeah. I had really bad gut issues. Went to every single doctor, the best of the best. Said nothing's wrong. It's all in your head. Started going to therapy because I really thought it was all in my head.
It's just stress.
Therapy wasn't helping. And I was to myself, something's wrong. I have no reason to feel this way. Yes. I eat well. I take care of myself. I have everything I want. I have a really great community. Why am I feeling this way? Went to a holistic doctor. Found out I had chronic inflammation. I had candida overgrowth in my gut. Fixed it. And now I feel like 10 times better and I feel light. Like literally he would touch my like stomach, like fasted. He would make me come fasted. Touch my stomach and I would like scream from pain.
Yeah.
I'm like, what?
And
like the fact that we're sharing the same story, there's millions of girls out there.
And Candida is a demon, okay? No one tells you that. Candida is like, I want you to think, what's that? The Stranger Things? That thing that just keeps growing and growing.
Yeah.
Candida is not your friend. Candida is literally a full-on demon. It will literally, I was like, Lord, I rebuke this in the name of Jesus. Because it was very intense. And Candida, I'm still healing. I have so much Candida overgrowth.
Yeah.
I'm still going through and it's not easy. Like you are basically on a keto diet, essentially, because carbs and sugar feed Candida. So you have to be very intentional about how you go about things. The other thing people don't talk about is the gut is your second brain.
Literally.
So you being anxious in the middle of the day is not random. If you starved yourself and you're on iced coffee, caffeine, nothing's in your system, spiking your cortisol, blood sugar. We could get into that.
Yeah, your gut's connected to your brain.
Yes, everything is interconnected. When they say, oh, you have a gut feeling, it's because it's your second brain. It's your nervous system. Baby girl, if that man's giving you butterflies, that's not your man. Like that's your nervous system telling you run. It's going to get worse.
Literally.
So it's important to talk about. And I feel like, especially in the fitness industry, it's sad, but I think that it's just been something that's kind of like swept under the rug. And it's just kind of like, oh, we don't really like talk about it. But gut health, I think, is becoming it's a growing topic because women are struggling with it.
Exactly. And like, I mean, I've spoken about this like before, but like a lot of these supplements aren't good for your gut health. Like I know like right now we're living in a really protein crazy like culture where a lot of companies are seeing that people are leaning towards protein and they want to make a profit off of it. They don't care about your health. They want the money. So they'll make a product, put high protein, low calorie, and it'll wreck
yourself.
It'll wreck your gut. And that's what happened with me. When I was bulking, I was taking all the high protein I could. Yeah. And that's how I literally like ruined my gut.
I don't do protein powder.
Oh, I don't remember very specific with it.
I don't remember the last time. I'm like, if I could have a cup of cottage cheese, I'd rather
I will take the cottage cheese.
Yeah, protein, it's I say this is like really what's it called? Like, what's the word? Controversial. But like women are not meant to be on extremely high protein and like very low fat. Like we actually need fats. Like
we
for
need the macros.
Our reproductive organs. It needs to be balanced out. Yeah. So if you're like starving yourself and you're just like, I'm just going to eat straight chicken, straight protein. No, baby, you have hormones. Like hate to be the bearer of bad news. Like you need a little bit more than that. Yeah. And so everything is just interconnected though. It's woven. 100%. Our gut, our nervous system, our diet, everything, you know? Yeah. It's not about starving yourself. It's about like how you feed yourself internally is how you're going to be able to show up externally. Exactly. So that's why you're fatigued, tired, anxious. Like, babe, it's the gut. I promise.
100%. Talking about starving yourself. What are you... What are your thoughts on skinny talk telling you to starve yourself to lose weight?
I literally made a reel about this, like, I think, like, a month ago. I was like, if I see one more skinny talk telling you to starve yourself, I was like, eat, girl. That was, like, the beginning of my reel. I think it's, again, predatory behavior. You're being a predator when you make skinny talks. Like, you're basically like, oh, like, no, I don't care what nobody says. Like, being bulky is not cute. Like, starve yourself. It's cute. Like, that's predatory. You're basically, like, targeting women and you're just like, okay, like, skinny is the new thing, so do it. I just don't agree with it. It's just, like, it really upsets me because women struggle already enough with their insecurities from... For example, like my stretch marks, at one point I was like, oh, do I need like laser surgery to get rid of my stretch marks? Like, do I need to have perfectly blemished skin? And I was like, no, why did I even think that though? Out of, you know, and I love this trend where it's a girl, she's celebrating something and she looks beautiful. And she's like, society has me so messed up that it made me forget the full picture and made me focus on this. And she zoomed into everything she was insecure about. It was a beautiful picture, confetti coming down, and she's like this, and she's glowing. And girl, if you're seeing this, like, she looked good, but she zoomed into her arms, that her arms didn't look right, that her waist didn't look right, that she had a blemish here, that her hair wasn't perfect. And I'm like, that's the perfect reel to describe what it's like being a woman. You constantly, and the other thing is, it not only affects women too, but also now you're creating this unrealistic standard that men should have for a woman, right? Like, there was this funny TikTok they tried to post, and it was like, muscle mommy or cardio bunny?
Oh, I saw that.
Come to the front.
Come to the front.
Right now.
We need to speak to you.
Like, yeah, because skinny talk has definitely had an impact on that. Men are looking at muscles as masculine, as gross, as if you're not this cardio bunny and you're not looking like this model, ew, like, why would I want that? You're a pussy if you don't like muscle mommies.
Exactly.
Period. I don't know what to tell you.
It's just so frustrating because I feel like in 2022, like literally until this year, we were just going in such a great direction for women.
It was great. It was like, women empowerment. And then I was like, Ozempic, GLP.
And it's just weird to me because I could talk about this all day, but it's just weird because like Ozempic, no one heard about it. All of a sudden, celebrities come forward. Look how much weight I lost. Ozempic. Obviously, then it gets pushed to this. It's just something sus. Whatever. But anyway.
I think it's just the agenda that's being pushed out. It's like, let's let women
just be healthy.
Like, strong is healthy. I don't think there's anything wrong. Weights are not going to make you bulky. I don't know how many times I have to share this. And it sucks when someone, let's say, has lost weight. Yeah. And let's say they did do a little GLP-1 and a little Ozempic. And they're like, I used to go to the gym all the time. This is why I look bulky. And now I tried Pilates and very low minimal weight. No, babe, be honest. It's Ozempic.
Yeah. I think just be honest.
Just be honest, period. Like, that's fine. Like, this is my journey with Ozempic. This is my journey with GLP. Cool. That's fine.
Yeah.
But don't come on the internet, you know, like, and I think that's been the frustration. And it's things you see with clients where they're like, well, I saw this girl talking about like, oh, the programming you gave me. It's a strength training program. It's going to help you. I always say, like, I think there's just this really messed up notion of like, oh, progressive overload, bulky. Yeah. Okay, my arms will get big. I'm going to stay big. And it's because one girl on TikTok made a skinny talk video saying, I used to lift bulky and this is why I looked inflamed and why I looked bad. We need strength training, babe. There's literally so many studies that show why strength training is important in women.
It's like the number one thing doctors recommend for as you get older. Your bone
if it was Pilates,
decreases.
If it was yoga, those things are great. They're great. I'm not saying they're bad. I think they have their place, but they cannot fully like
replace what strength training is, like weightlifting is.
No.
Yeah. I agree with you.
How?
I want to talk a little bit more about coming back to like the gut health journey and foods in general. How did you begin to heal your relationship with food and see it as fuel instead of something to control?
I think that the turning point for me was understanding that I could apply my culture to foods. So honestly, the biggest turnoff for me with like eating was that it just was bland. Like it wasn't, I thought, oh, it's chicken, rice, and broccoli. And like you said, it's in this controlled environment. I'm weighing everything and I wasn't enjoying it. And I think that when your body isn't enjoying something, it will, again, the inflammation, the bloating. It wasn't just that my body was reacting that way. It was also like, it just wasn't enjoying what I was eating. And so I was like, now I have this toxic relationship with food where it's like, I have to eat this. I have to weigh this. If I don't do this, it means I'm not going to get results. And so I had this mindset shift of like, it's not about starving myself and it's not about having this restricted relationship. I'm like, this should be fun. This should be good. And so I had to rewire my brain. And I think it goes back to culture as well. I think we're also taught like, hey, like watch your figure, like don't get too big, you know, or oh, you're going for more food, cuidado, you know, like be careful with how much you're eating. And so in my head, that was already the pre-wired belief that I had about food. I eat more, I gain. So I would always try to control it. And obviously that was not working because I was putting on a lot of weight, but it was the amount of stress I was putting my body under. And so that's when I had to rewire my brain. Food is fuel. And that one statement genuinely changed my life. Telling myself anytime I went for food, food is fuel. This is good. This is going to help my body. This is what I need. And so I reached a point in my life where I was like, I could starve myself for the rest of my life and I could keep living this way, completely burned out, exhausted, or I could find the color in food again. And so that's when I started looking up different recipes for my cultural foods. So for example, when I'd go in, for example, with breaded chicken is a big one in Uruguay, believe it or not, milanesas. And I'm like, oh, I can't have that. No, you can fry it in avocado oil. You can also, there was different ways of breading the chicken. And so this started my kind of like, okay, I kind of want to see what else I could make in a healthy version. Empanadas, I don't need to fry them. I can actually bake them. The dough, I can make it. The protein, I can control in each empanada, but I'm enjoying this food, right? Or for example, just any foods that I was cooking, I was like, this is fun now. Plátano, oh my gosh, there's actually a lot of like nutrient, like benefits to this. How can I like apply this? And so that's when food finally became fuel, because I was like, this is what fuels me. I think food is big with culture, right? When you think of culture or your culture, you're like, oh, my mom's dish, or like, oh my God, as soon as I land in my country, I know what I'm eating, right? And so that's what became like the fuel for me. I was like, I can enjoy my foods. Like, this is fun.
I love that. Wait, that's so smart too. Because a lot of people think like, oh, like in order to like eat right, I have to eat chicken and rice. But then you're like, no. Here's the tea.
Newsflash.
Yeah, I love it. Are there any fitness or weight loss myths that you think women should stop believing?
If you eat less, you lose weight. That was the biggest one. That's just the biggest myth. You're putting your body under stupid amounts of stress. I don't think like you realize it. And then cortisol, now that's like a really popular word, but cortisol levels and the stress you're putting on your body on a day-to-day, hourly, by the minute, like that's something you really need to be aware of. If your body's constantly under stress, you're always hungry, and that's the thing, right? It becomes a toxic cycle. How many times have you starved yourself all day and now it's 12 a.m. and you're snacking on chips? It's because you starved yourself the whole day and now you're binging. And now, after you finish that bag of chips, now you feel guilty. Now you're shaming yourself. God forbid you form an eating disorder. And now you're in this toxic cycle. You know it's not good for you, but you keep doing it, right? And so this is something that I commonly see among clients when I'm training them. Another big one I would also say is like progressive overload will make you bulky. It's a myth, like period, point blank. That's not the way training works. You don't get bulky from strength training. Like you have to be trying really hard and probably pushing a ton of steroids to look like a man and feel like that's what you want. But if you're not doing that, like you're fine. There's so many benefits. I could talk about this for hours, the amount of benefits with strength training. Do your research, really get into it, find what works for you. Nobody can tell you. I can't tell you. No one can tell you. You need to know for yourself what is going to work for you, but you got to do strength training like 100%. There's no if or everyone deserves strength training. My grandpa, who's almost 80, when he flies out here, I make sure we're both getting it in the gym. He's 80 and he fully trust him. He's 80. He's still doing strength training. He recovered from cancer literally by still slowly training and eating right, and he fully recovered. So I think to me that was my biggest inspiration. Like, yeah, I got to keep straight, because I almost definitely fell for the gimmick. I'm like, I am curvier. Maybe Pilates will help. Maybe if I stop doing the whole weight training. And it did not help me. If anything, I went back a step a little bit when it came to my strength and feeling good. So I don't know. Now we're still back in the process. It's hard with all the societal pressures we're feeling. And it's like, am I doing the right thing? It's hard. Social media is so much information you're trying to grasp at like 90 miles per hour, you know?
Literally.
So having that healthier relationship and just boundaries within social media is also I feel like really important.
Very important, especially in today's day and age.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, where it's like everywhere. You can't like get away from it.
Mm-mm.
What's one of the biggest lessons that you took away from your weight loss journey? It could be mentally, physically, emotionally.
A lot of people are like, you're glowing or you look so happy now that like you lost all this weight. And I would say it's not the weight loss that's made me happy. It's making a goal for myself and sticking with it no matter what and no matter how I felt. And I have this saying now, no emotion, just motion. I say that a lot.
I was gonna ask that.
I say that a lot, and I didn't think it'd be such a big hit. People love this phrase, but it's something I told myself throughout those months of like, okay, you don't feel, gotta be emotion, right? What is it called? Depression can't move a hitting target. So it's like we gotta keep pushing. And so for me, it was more about, oh, I'm keeping this goal to myself. And that's what I was chasing. I wasn't chasing skinny. I wasn't chasing a lighter version of myself. I was chasing the best version of me. So I was like, oh, I showed up yesterday, even though I didn't want to. That's a flex. I'm proud of myself. That shows that I do love myself. I'm committing to being the best version of myself. And I'm not lying to myself. I'm not trying to do a quick fix. I'm actually putting in the work and I'm sacrificing the time to be here. And I think that was like the biggest takeaway. Just knowing that I'm doing this for me and I kept this promise to myself. That's the best feeling when you say I'm going to do something and you actually do it and allow your actions to speak louder than like what you keep saying you're going to do.
Period. So I have another question. You spoke a lot about, finding comfort in being alone. So I want to ask why that's so important and why you emphasize it.
If you're not comfortable with your own company, then you're not going to be comfortable around people. You'll probably just try to cope and make it look like you are. Or you'll grow codependent to always being around people. And the reality is that people don't owe you anything. And I think for a long time, I was, again, part of the process was awareness, who I was surrounding myself with. Why was I always people pleasing and allowing everyone to step all over me? And it went back to the self-love part of it, right? And so I was like, if I don't fully love myself, like how do I expect to love someone else and truly love the people around me to the best of my ability, right? And I always say that people can only meet you as far as they've met themselves. And God forbid I ever surround myself with people that refuse to meet themselves. Like I can't do it. I don't like shallow conversations because I've spent so much time with myself, because I've dived so deep into the depths of my soul. Like that's the only way to put it. I am such a deep person, and it's a blessing and a curse, like a lot of people are like, it's not that deep, like relax. Like I'm very intuitive. I'm not dumb. I can read the room. I can read the energy. And I think that a lot of people would make me feel bad for that, right? Have friends who are like, you're overthinking it. Like they're a great person.
And then something like, I clocked it first.
Months later, Jazz, you were low key right, man. I was like, she was moving. I believe like if you move funny once with me, that's where the East Coast comes out. Like you move funny one time, you move funny. It's not about, they specifically, no, you move funny. My spirit felt something funny in you. Like I want to see you eat, just not at my table type vibe. Like you eat, you do your thing. I'm always right there, but just stay over there. And that's just how we keep it. And I think that I just love my own company now. It's frightening though, because it's like you spend so much time alone that you're like, it'll be 3 months of you being by yourself. And then you're like,
oh, I haven't talked to anyone.
I'm like, oh, I need to catch up on a lot with everybody. And I need to, but I need that. And I realize that's just what works for me. The people who love me understand me. Not everybody will understand. I say don't take it personal. I think that there's just people that really just thrive on, like, I'm a low maintenance friend. I used to be the high maintenance friend. I'm like, I need to see you every single week. We need to be talking. But I realized like I'm just a friend that like we can meet up once a month. You catch me up. You can call me whenever though.
Yeah.
Like I will. That's one thing about me. I don't ignore people.
Mhm.
If you call me now, if you text me, that's different. I honestly, that might take 3 to 16 business days. I'm gonna be real with you. I suck at texting.
Same.
But if you were to call me and be like, Jazz, I need you right now. Can you pull up? I will do it in a heartbeat.
Mhm.
And I think that once you understand, right, you protect your peace for so long, you also start learning what disrupts your peace. So I just don't do disruptions.
Mhm.
So it's like once you're just in this, and I think I call it a flow state. Once I'm in my flow state and I'm like, I recognize what's peaceful. I'm peaceful within myself. Right now, you put yourself in an environment. It's like, oh, I can actually make the decision if I want to be here or not. Right.
Mhm.
But I will preface, I think in our generation, a lot of people have mistaken boundary setting with not being considerate.
Mhm.
And for me, although I am a low maintenance friend, I still consider people's hearts in the process. If I know I have a friend who's going through something, I don't care if I got to drive an hour, right? If someone's grieving something, I have this one friend and we can call each other once a month. We catch up like nothing. Something happened in her life and I recognize that's something that's really hard. So I know I'm going to call a little bit more often and I'm going to show up more because that's what a real friend does. And I think finding real friendships where people consider you and they're not a-holes like is really hard nowadays.
I agree.
You know, it's always like, oh, well, it's not convenient for me. Friendships are not meant to be convenient. They should inconvenience you.
Yeah.
They should, like, if you love someone. Do you know what I mean?
I mean, that's why they are your friend. Or if they are not going to do that, then they're an acquaintance, you know?
At that point, yeah, I don't call everybody my friend.
Yeah.
I'm like, oh yeah, I know them. They're acquaintances. But for me to call someone a friend, I really have to be proud to call someone my friend.
Exactly.
Like, I don't just, oh, this is my best.
Yeah.
This is, like, I don't use phrases like that. I have a handful of friends. I would say I have one best friend. She's my everything. She knows it. I don't need to say it. We lock in like that and that's it. And I always just say, like, my mom would always say, like, when you grow up, if you can count on one hand the amount of friends you have as an adult, then like you're blessed because a lot of people don't have that. And so I'd rather be quality over quantity.
100%.
I don't need 100 friends. I don't need to make time for every single person. I'd rather just lock in on the few that I know will be ride or dies. And my thing is like, I don't like one-sided friendships, you know? Like, I want to not only give and pour into you, but you need to pour back into me.
100%.
This is not like you're gonna take and I'm not receiving. And going back to the people pleasing, that was another reason why I couldn't grow as a person, because I would just wait around. I would wait around, like, you know, and that's a part of me. I have a big heart. I will do anything for anybody. Even if you wronged me, I will more than likely still be there, even if someone needed me. And I think that I love it and I hate that about me. But I'm coming to terms with the fact that, like, when you operate and you move in love, you always win. And that's just like my big thing, just loving big. And I'm like, okay, sometimes it's hard, you know, my little, you know, East Coast flair. I'm like, oh, like, I want to be like, you move funny, we're done. Like, that's how I want to move. Depends on what you do, though, the level of it. Like, I'm going to forget, but I'm not going to forget. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, just the pouring. You want to surround yourself with people that aren't only going to take from you, but like, I want to pour into you too. And I want to invest in you.
Yeah.
You know, it's an investment. Time is money, right?
It's mutual.
You got to be investing not just into your job, career, but you're investing into people. Exactly. When I give you an hour of my day, when I'm giving you hours, that means I'm choosing to invest into you because I see something in us, you know?
Yeah.
It's not just like an exchange. It's like of just like, okay, just time, energy. Like, we're investing into each other. Like, how can we build each other up over time?
I like that. I love that. What's one piece of advice you'd give to your younger self? Like, if you could go back in time and be face to face with little Jazz, what would it be?
So crying. I would probably say don't dim your light. 100%. I feel like there were so many times like in my childhood that I allowed like way too many people to dim my light because I thought I was too much for so many rooms and so many people. And now looking back, I'm just like, no, I wish I would have been more of myself and shown more of who I am. And so now I'm like, I don't care if my light bothers you. Like, get out of my way. Like,
Period.
you know, like the light will always like bring out what's in the dark. And I always say, like, you never know who you're going to run into. You're going to piss a lot of people off when you want to shine bright. But at the end of the day, like, why should that affect your light and how you operate? And so that's like in the phase of life where I'm at. And I always look back to my inner child. I always talk to my inner child. And I'm like, we got this. Like, we good. Like, I'm gonna protect you. We're gonna be good. And I always have this little, I love like, there's a therapy that I did and it was very inner child. Like, it was just, it's CBT, so cognitive behavioral therapy, but she did go a lot to the inner child. And I read a book on the inner child and I'm so passionate about it. Like how you speak to yourself. You're speaking to little Nona. You're speaking to little Jazz. So was it you that said you had a picture of your younger self?
Yeah.
Yeah, I remember you posted that one time. Now thinking about that, and that's something in therapy too that they always say, you always try to have a bunch of little pictures of yourself and write a letter to your younger self. And I remember that. It's like you're always talking to them.
Yeah.
Why would you call her ugly?
Exactly.
Would you tell her she's not enough? Would you tell her she's too curvy, that she's not confident enough? No. So that's what I'd say, like, don't stop shining your light, you know, and just keep going.
I love that.
Yeah.
Thank you for being here.
Thank you, Nona.
I love you. I'm so happy. Thank you. There was so much like wisdom and like beautiful insight, and you spoke like so like you convey your emotions so well, like into your words. So thank you. Thank you
for having me. I'm like, so yeah, I'm blessed, grateful to be here.
Oh, thank you. And I'm sure you ladies are gonna love Jazz, and you could find her at
on Instagram, Jazmín Margalef, and then on TikTok, Quad Mommy. We haven't changed that one.
I love it. Honestly, I love it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Perfect. Love you.
Bye.
The content of this show is for educational and entertainment purposes only. It is not a substitute for individual medical or mental health advices and does not constitute or provide a patient-provider relationship. I'm just your bestie. I am not a licensed therapist or professional, and this podcast is not intended as a substitute for the advice of a physician or other qualified professional. As always, talk to your doctor, healthcare provider, or professional. Talk to you soon. Bye.